Okay, so we are up. Let's see here. Let's do a roll call. How about this? We'll start with Carlos, and I can see some of the individuals here. We'll go to all the hubs that have people there. You could turn, hey, pretty lady, what's going on? If we could just go start with the hubs, we'll go Carlos. I'm getting a little echo here, and then we'll go to the pilot. If you could just turn your computer around, see who we have, just give us a quick rundown of who's there in front of you, and then I can also see the individuals up top. So Los, we'll start with you. Can you turn around, let me see who's there? Give me a quick rundown, please.
Yarkos.
Yep.
Achabe.
What's up, what's up?
Sir Alex Couture.
Okay, got it. Wait, is it like this? Wait, hold on. Is it this? What is it? I don't know. Okay, got it. Hey, do you know who won Miss America? North Dakota in the house. That's Heidi's best friend from college. No, not at all. That's not. But that would have been dope. That would have been really dope. Anyway, good to see you, Ree. And then who else do we have in Tampa? Last one.
Also fresh from the minute.
Okay, Mr. Brandon. Beautiful. Now I'm assuming are we missing a couple people here and there? What's the?
We are. We're missing Jackson. We're missing Alex. They're both heading back from.
Okay, I figure we're gonna have this is kind of a makeshift. Okay, and I see Mr. Luke Laughlin all the way out in Colorado. See Mr. Austin. Austin, where are you right now? No, I think you're muted. That's okay. I see Luis, no video, but I see he's on.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm in Tampa right now. I'm helping some people out, take down shutters. And,
got it. Okay, cool. So we have Hurricane Irma Gersh situations. Got it. Lewis, we've got Mr. Kevin Shen and David. Why don't you go ahead and let us know who's there from the pilot real quick, and we'll roll.
Yeah. So here we have. One second, guys. Of course, we have Michael, we have Leonardo, we have Miss Kate, we have Ronald, we have Miss Abby, we have Michael Blair, Erica, and of course, we have Antoine.
Okay.
Excuse me now, Jeremy. He is on his way. He's driving down right now with his family from Atlanta.
Yep.
So he's not here. And SJ, he's in class. Lou also had another activity else in class, and Malcolm should be joining us after class as well.
Okay, I'm going to leave it up to you. So Carlos reaching out to anyone that missed it because of circumstances. David, same thing. And then once we get Luke and them on from Gainesville. Cool?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We don't necessarily have time for What's Hot, What Do You Appreciate. You guys can do that on your own. Give me a thumbs up if everyone can hear me, though. I just want to make sure. Yeah, got it. Perfect. So first and foremost, Irma Gersh. Wow. We got hit with a hurricane, and it has been crazy. And I'm safe up here in Delaware. So I've been here since Friday before the hurricane. I went to Dallas on Wednesday. So just want to say, first and foremost, before we get into any TLA, that I'm really pleased, happy, elated, relieved that everyone is safe and sound. And I'm proud to say we are 100% accounted for. No one's missing from TLA. No one's missing from the hurricane. No one's boat went out and didn't come back. No one's, power went out. We haven't heard from them. So everyone is accounted for, and all is good there. So let's just start there. Say your prayers, say your blessings, and just really happy to hear that we are okay. Doesn't mean that the buildings are okay. Doesn't mean normal way of living is okay. And it doesn't mean that things before the hurricane are the same. But what it does mean is that we can now move forward. We can now recover. So I wanted to share a few thoughts to the TLA group today. I also have in my notes here, it is so awesome to see how helpful and how much of a team and how much of a family we have in our United team. Just from the people who are looking to set up, opportunities to go help out on the West Coast. And Luis Cordova was very vocal about that. Just watching the different groups. I'm on Clearwater's group, and you guys will see the broadcast here in a little bit. I'm on different office team chats, and I get to see just the very natural, very I would say natural and organic support structure that you guys have. And I know it seems weird to kind of turn it this way, but amidst danger and all this craziness, it makes me so proud to represent and to know what kind of team we work for. It makes me really proud to see people offering condolences, to see how people are, to, hey, get a quick update, is everyone okay? And that's not just from the management level. I saw that from a Mike Abramowitz, from, I mean, every one of the managers down, but I saw it from rep up. And in no particular order, I just saw a lot of, hey, be safe. Hey, if you need anything, hey, we have power. You can come over here and charge your phone. Hey, I have a boat. I'll swim over to if I need to. Someone said that. That was funny. And, you know, all jokes aside, now that we know everyone's safe, it really does speak to the core of Florida United. So for what it's worth, it's awesome. And I know it's easy to laugh now and look back, but it was pretty freaking scary for a minute. It was pretty scary from a what can happen business, from a damage standpoint to safety standpoint. The most frightening thing for me was looking at Brickell, where I used to live, in a picture of a river going through Brickell, downtown Miami, like the apocalypse. Like, have you ever seen those movies where the tsunami comes in and the water take over the city? And the building that they were showing on Instagram or on this post is one building down for where I used to live in downtown Miami. So it's just very surreal. And everyone that I know outside of Cutco is also safe. So with that being said, just props to our team, props to the servant leadership, props to the teamwork, props to the family, and props to all of you, which is awesome. So I wanted to share a few thoughts. You know, it's a very interesting time because we just had a major quote unquote catastrophe. But in the weirdest way, this is one of the best things possible that could happen for a division from a lesson standpoint and from where we take this directionally standpoint, right? So anytime you have challenge, things that we'll call it a wrench in the gears, if you know what that means, where you throw something unexpected and jams up the gears. This is unexpected. Why is this unexpected? Because assignments were due. Why is this unexpected? Because it's freaking SLC push phone jam starting Sunday and people didn't get all their PCs in right away. Why is this inconvenient and crazy? It's because all these things were due, but that's what it is. It's just inconvenient. And if you remember from the prep, there are two things we can control no matter what, no matter how good, no matter how bad. And who can tell me what those two things we can control are? What is it? You can just yell it. Attitude.
Reaction.
Attitude and effort.
Yeah, attitude and effort, or attitude and work ethic are the same thing. Attitude and effort. And so what's great is that this is just another example of attitude. It's a hurricane now, Hurricane Irma now, week of September 11th, 10th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. But in the summer, it might be FPL gets blown up at one of the hubs of FPL in Fort Lauderdale blows up, and all power in the southeast corridor of Florida go down. Right? Not a natural disaster, but something happens crazy. We don't know that. We don't know. It could be crazy Facebook posts that happened 2 summers ago where people had these crazy allegations about our company and things that we weren't doing, putting them up and causing people not to apply during the busiest time of the year. I mean, you name it. It doesn't have to be a natural disaster. And time again, what is very common is that successful leaders, successful business people, and you're all going to be successful business people when we're done with it, you know that, always know how to respond, not react. And if there's anything, you start with your notes real quick as I'm speaking, just for a short bit, it's to respond, not react. You know, my late father used to always say, because there was always hot heads around, and my dad was the diplomat of the family. He was the ambassador of the family, so to speak, of the siblings and of our immediate family. And he used to always say, cool heads reign, right? Cool heads reign. We might even take it another way, calm and collected. My dad always used to say that. Hey, cool heads reign when there were family tiffles and when siblings were fighting, and all siblings fight, all families have their things. He just said, hey, cool heads reign. And he's always the one that said, everyone can argue, but at the end of the day, you know, I think what he was saying in a non-TLA way was high emotion, low logic. You guys give me a head nod if you remember that, right? When emotions are really high, our logic drops, and we tend to do, say, and feel stupid things. This kind of coincides into next week when we talk about where you're at right now. It's very easy in this time, and this is not most of you, but there's a small 10% of TLA going, my gosh, there's so much going on. This natural disaster, school is hard. I had to leave Tallahassee, that's FSU. I had to get out of my house for a week with no power. That's most of you in South Florida. All these things going on. I don't know if I can do TLA. Right? We've already had 3 people try to quit. And what did I say at the first prep?
No one's quitting.
No one's quitting. No one's quitting. Sorry. And the reality is, it's just a lot of high emotion, low logic. That's across the board, folks. That is across the board. At some point, you're going to want to quit. I said that at my opening comments. You're going to want to tell me that you're going to quit. You're not, and we're going to talk about that. At some point, there are going to be things that challenge you. Whatever gives you most insecurity, work on that. If your startup is low, if you're one of the few people that don't have $1,000 in startup, work on that first, because that'll give you most security. If your personal skills are really low, work on that. If your skill sets are low, work on that. And we've talked about this. I just want to make it really clear that, man, there are going to be things, not just Hurricane Irma, that come our way, but how we respond is really important to just how this whole TLA program runs down, okay? And I want to give props to, let me give you some examples from veterans who've been through TLA who do think like this. Like Orlando Biersing, there's still no power in the Fort Myers office. And they're going to see this video, this broadcast in a bit. There's still no power in the Fort Myers office, yet they still have 20 people set for training. He's running interviews at a time when it's still broad daylight in the front of the office where there's daylight coming in, so they can still run interviews. He's just letting people know, hey, because of the hurricane, everyone else is kind of behind and recovering, and we're not. We're moving forward, trying to offer jobs, and we're trying to get people onto our team before school gets busy and all the spots get taken. So he's creating urgency amidst emergency. He's turning a negative into a positive. He's got 20 people set for training, right? Grace Velez, zero power. In fact, I would say their power outage is going to be indefinite right now. They don't even have a timeline. It could be weeks or months. Now, we don't hope it's weeks or months, but instead of pity party, what did Grace do? She went to where she could find Wi-Fi. She went to Starbucks. Thank you, Starbucks, right? And got onto her Vector Live account, for those who don't know what that means, and she decided to go proactively and run Starbucks as her office. She signed 20 people on Tuesday for interviews. And some of you don't know what that means, but she, from scratch, with no office, hurricane, no power, the roads are a mess in Puerto Rico, she created 20 new people for her team out of nowhere. That would be like no phone service, no Wi-Fi signal, AT&T and all the phones are down. You decide to travel somewhere far to find phone and you book 15 demos for the week. That's the equivalent. So she had an attitude that it doesn't matter, I'm not a victim. You can control, again, attitude and effort. And I think that's those are two great examples. Tallahassee, Tallahassee right now, they had to evacuate, but they're still running interviews, getting people signed for training. Tampa, Carlos just got back a couple of days ago, assessed the damage, and the day he got back, when there was still debris and damage and power outage, the moment light came on, they had their first interview ran. David Delgado, pilot, we didn't even expect to have power. It's so nice, and you really appreciate power when you look right now in this video, and I can see right behind Kate's head light, or behind Leonardo's head, there's like an aura, like almost a halo behind you, known as the fluorescent office light bulb. I mean, it's just, you take that for granted, but we didn't have light. But today, David has already been able to sign about 3 or 4 people for training, and we're probably going to run an interview right after this where Antoine's going to sign another 3 to 5 people, and we're still going to move the business, okay? So it's not going to stop us, okay? So those are just some great examples. And let me walk you through. I'm going to talk to the districts about this. There are different ways to approach it, right? Tell me the different scenarios. It's the same as if there's a holiday, 4th of July, you're trying to book appointments. It's the same as if it's Mother's Day, Father's Day. What are the 3 types of categories of people you're going to deal with when you call them? What brave soul wants to give this a shot? Year-round. Year-round, catastrophe, holiday. When you're trying to book Cutco appointments, you'll deal with 10%, 10%, and 80%. What's one extreme on the holidays? Yeah, 4th of July. How dare you call me, Kate Pinsker? It is 4th of July. Are you kidding me? Well, I was looking for a Saturday appointment. 4th of July is on Sunday. But it is the 4th weekend. And they take the whole weekend, life shuts down. And then there's the complete opposite. This was my dad and my mom during holidays. What's the complete opposite? Just, okay, that's just my day off. Like, I don't want to do anything. Mother's Day for some people, it's everyone has to bow down to mom for 24 hours. And then opposite is, hey, this is my day off, leave me alone. That's your Mother's Day gift to me. Like, let me relax, not do anything. And then there are people that do things in between, right? A Mother's Day brunch, Mother's Day dinner. You're going to deal with the same thing. So let's take it from a rep standpoint. What would be an extreme case you're going to deal with here from customers when we call them for appointments? What's the extreme negative?
We have no light.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I mean, did you know there was a hurricane? And you, oh yeah, I do know. I do, yeah. Everyone in the country knows, for sure. Maybe the world. And you know what? My suspicion is you're probably going to have those people have the same reaction to 4th of July, to Mother's Day, to Hurricane Irma, to everything. right? My suspicion is that whatever they unleash onto you over the phone is probably the way they would unleash pretty much anything. Then you have the complete opposite, and I'm looking at the updates, and I don't have them in front of me, but I'm seeing signature set. Patricia Amador just sold her Olean homemade. Puerto Rico got it worse than the East Coast of Florida, and they're selling signatures. I'm looking at signature set. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And it's like nothing happened. You have people that say, yeah, we're just cleaning up all the trees. The house yard's a mess, but come on over. And then you'll get people in between. And I think as smart business people, I want you to take the attitude that, hey, I'm going to deal with the extremely negatives. I'm going to deal with it doesn't matter. And just like any other push, any other week, any other holiday, you have to navigate objections. Thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. Give me a little thumbs up. Yeah? Okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing, you're going to deal with reps. A lot of you are starting to manage reps. And remember, a lot of these reps don't have the same culture. They don't have the same attitude. They don't think and speak like TLA members yet because they're baby reps. Maybe they only started last month. Maybe they're at under 10K in sales. Everyone on this call is over 10K. Well, you have to understand they're going to have that version too. Hey, I can't work. I don't know what to do. And the key is finding out, well, first of all, there are people that want to work. Everyone on this call wants to work. This is TLA, and they're going to find a way. But then there are reps where their whole life is put on hold, and the hurricane didn't even directly hit them. Right? Like, for example, I was speaking to a couple people from Tallahassee, a lot of our managers. And Tallahassee got hit, and there's some damage, but Tallahassee as a town is just not equipped for a hurricane. So it is state of emergency feel, and people left the state. Some went to go party, some went to go seek refuge. Some, there's different scenarios. But the common thing is that, hey, there are people that want to work. There's an office right now in Tallahassee with a whole bunch of United managers functioning like nothing happened. And it is badass. It's awesome, sorry. It is awesome. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the town got swept and they're not prepared. So what's my point? We're going to have to deal with a lot of uncertainty. So creating certainty for people is going to be really important. So let me give you a quick rundown of also being flexible. Let me give you a list of things to note right now. I sent an email, but I want to make sure I cover this. This is how we're going to be flexible. Okay, this is how we're going to be flexible. A couple things. For those of you that virtually participated at the monthly prep, those of you that were far away and couldn't sit live, the deal is you sit live on Zoom for opening comments, and then the rest of the prep is optional. You can hop off and then simply send all of your notes, and also make sure you attach a one-page debrief to summarize all of your notes at once. Okay, so for example, I'm looking at Kevin Shen here. Kevin's in Yukon. So if he were to participate virtually, he would watch the virtual prep. He would watch it on Zoom for the opening comments. Then he could hop off and watch the rest. He has 1 week to complete it. I would want to see all of his notes. And then attached to it also separately is a one-page summary that I put on the last email that summarizes the biggest takeaways for Kevin. Pretty simple. That was supposed to be due Sunday night, but because of the hurricane, that has been extended. So you guys can check that out in the email. You guys have an extra week essentially. Okay. Then also the matrix score. So the next thing you can write down is matrix score extended. For every PR you set, 5, 10, up to 25, is anywhere between 1 to 5 respective points. Now, because a whole week essentially has been wiped out with all the mayhem and emergency of the hurricane, we're extending that deadline also by an extra week. So make sure you take a look at that. Number 3, by tonight, all of the SLC push goals were supposed to be posted, but I know some people aren't even getting back to their territory. They're not even able to talk to their manager until today or tomorrow. That SLC posting your goals has also been extended. Take a look at the WhatsApp. It's all very clear there. And then the email I just sent out to remind you. Keep in mind also there's the other assignments that are due like normal. Investing in a journal. Listening to the Jim Rohn link. And if those of you that are looking at the agenda link is incorrect, but I did send the correct link. If someone could, David, if you could pop on the WhatsApp and resend on the TLA page the correct, I sent it right before the hurricane, the correct updated Jim Rohn link. I know a couple people were asking about that. Okay. Okay, and just a friendly reminder, let me make sure I got all this covered here. Also, having your big 3 numbers for finances available for next prep. I need to know how much are you spending, even if mom and dad are the bank of mom right now and they swipe everything for you. If you had to do it on your own, What does gas cost a week? What does food cost a week? What does fun cost a week? I want you to have those 3 numbers, and I'll be checking up on those. And then I haven't had many people do that yet, but again, the hurricane kind of threw things for limbo. But $100 rule in effect. So if you find yourself looking to spend or swipe for 100 or more, send me a WhatsApp 101 directly. Let's talk about it. Let's have some smart financial conversations. Let's create the routine of you reaching out to a circle of influence before you start spending money. Because if you do it with 100, I want you to get used to it when it becomes 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. Any questions on assignments from the districts or clarification from anyone? No? Okay. So the 2 topics you guys will be covering, and it depends on the manager. You guys should have already covered last week the PR approach, role played, and in detail. So thumbs up if you've done that already. All of you know how to go through the PR approach? Yes? Should? Okay. If not, that needs to be covered yesterday. Today's prep is going through situational leadership, going through what's supposed to happen mentally, the psychological and business model that explains why you get stressed out and why all of you should want to quit at some point during the TLA process. It's inevitable. Anytime you go through a new routine, a new position, in this case, a new system, TLA, there is a point where your excitement goes down and you start to question. And the managers are actually going to cover this with you today, and there are strategies to combat that, because even though people want to quit, what's the answer?
No one's quitting.
No one's quitting. That's it, right? No one's quitting. It's like the Navy SEALs. No man or no woman left behind, except certainly not to that degree. We're not putting people in harm's way like that. So just keep in mind today, one of the main objectives, either today or next week, is to cover situational leadership and the importance of doing a power hour planning session. There's a document that your managers are going to hand out and cover. They'll either cover today or next week, and then whatever week they choose. Let me backtrack. So that's one topic for this week. Most of you will cover that now. And then next week, we'll be covering PR objections and role-playing that. And that'll bring us to our next monthly prep, which is going to be September the 23rd. And then we'll have multiple hubs for that one. We'll have the pilot in Fort Lauderdale. We'll have San Juan for all of Puerto Rico. We'll have a Tallahassee. I'm sorry, we'll have I believe a Tallahassee hub, but the Tallahassee hub is going to go over to Gainesville. So what I'm hearing is everyone's going to head over to Gainesville from Tally. Carlos, you can talk to your crew, but I think Tampa's close enough, or the Tampa crew is going to come up to Tally as well? Or are you guys running a hub? Have you decided yet?
Gainesville,
Gainesville for this week, this month.
close enough where we can go. We'll get it ironed out.
Okay, yeah, I would recommend Tallahassee's going to Gainesville. I recommend Tampa and Clearwater going to Gainesville, but if for some reason you guys want to work out and have a hub instead, you guys can do a hub, but we need one hub for Clearwater, Tampa. Cool. And then I'll be live at the Gainesville prep. Any questions? Okay. So here's, if I were to say what's important right now as a TLA member, number one is getting your bearings back as to how you can get your selling going depending on your unique situation. If you're ready, gung ho, hey Jeff, you're just already saying what I'm thinking, then just get on it. If you're having challenges, or if you're not sure, or maybe you're in that 10% where, hey Jeff, I don't know if I'm ready to work right now. I've got this. Fine, that's okay. But you got to talk to a manager. You got to talk to David. You got to talk to Mike. You have to talk to Luke. You have to talk to Carlos. Whoever your manager is now, and work something out. I'm okay if you're still trying to recover from the hurricane. I'm not okay with you saying, well, I don't know when I can sell. Yes, you do now. You got to plan it out. Second thing is I would pay really close attention to the situational leadership and power hour that they're going to cover either today or next week, and see how it's affecting you, right? In fact, we're going to cover this at the next prep. Many of you are going through what's called D2, D as in dog, number 2, D2 phase, which means your understanding of all the things that need to happen until they are starting to go up, but your excitement's starting to drop, AKA stress, AKA crazy time from the last prep. And that's natural. In fact, I will tell you, I went through D2 myself in the spring when I took over a bigger division, right? It was at some point where I super excited, didn't know what I was getting into, and then the reality of how much different it was going to be and how much more work in some cases, the excitement kind of dropped. And luckily, through multiple years of TLA, I knew how to navigate through that, and we want to cover that with you today. Third thing I would be making sure is you set your SOC goal and post that as soon as possible. In fact, I believe by Saturday, this Saturday at 9 p.m., looking for everyone in TLA to have posted their SLC goals. So post the use sign, and it's all on the WhatsApp from this morning. Any questions on that? Okay, and make sure you're keeping your circles of influence strong. The most important skill set right now is learning how to call PRs, because that's what all of our offices are doing right now. We are in building mode. So any questions or comments? I'll go to our seniors. We have Carlos and Delgado, and I think Luke is on with Gainesville, right? Is that Luke over there? I think I see him. Hey, there you go. Any additional comments? We'll go Luke, Carlos, and David. Any additional thoughts before I teach you?
I mean, yeah, just this is a great opportunity after the chaos of the hurricane to get set back in your routines and get things going again. What not to do right now is to use the hurricane or use kind of the fluster of things as an excuse right now to not do the things that are going to make you the best version of yourself.
I agree.
You know? So
I agree.
Make sure can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
But make sure paying attention to situational leadership stuff. I know that's something that's been huge for me, because whatever you're thinking right now, whatever situation you're in right now, the managers themselves, we've probably been through. So then you're going to kind of see the process that we have going through itself.
Yeah. Luke, what are you guys covering today? Peer objections, or are we going to go situational and power hour?
Oh, we'll do situational power hour.
Cool. Okay. Carlos, how about you? You've been through multiple TLA cycles with multiple candidates. Do you have any additional thoughts?
Obviously, the importance of power hour is so important now, because anytime I was super stressed out for TLA, it had a direct correlation to my use of my planner, my use of to-do lists, just figuring out what's the most important thing right now. And it's funny, once I put it all on paper, it's like, all right, sounds so bad, I can do this again. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Strategize. David, any additional thoughts?
Yeah, just last thing would be, we've had a great attitude together as a team going into this hurricane, and with everything, everyone want to support each other. Now let's take that momentum, redirect the energy, and let's build momentum, especially for this SLC push. It's time to make a statement. It's not the time to slack off. And especially being TLA, we do have higher standards. We have higher expectations of ourselves, and we hope to navigate better than we would an average rep. And we want to hit our goals. We want to make a statement still, regardless of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And let's work hard to do the best we can.
And I want to reiterate, making a statement during the fall push, SLC, Olean push, it's not like a summer push. It's more about what agreement are you setting. I'm looking at all these different posts. The most recent one, I look at Rihanna Magnifico, 3K, 5K, 7.5, 10 appointments. Eric Palacio, 3K, 5K, 7.5, 15 appointments. Notice those goals wouldn't even get you looked. Those goals would be for a day or for a couple of days during the SA2 push, right? When I look at, I'm going down here, right? Look at this. Rachel Gutman, I'm using Rachel. A must-do goal of 3K. Rachel was selling that in a day or on an appointment during the SC2 push. But her whole push goal minimum is 3K. I'm okay with that, because this is what I'm setting out to do. I'm going to agree to it. I'm going to get it. You guys see how that works during this time of the year? It's different. It's more about following through on your agreements and effort on what you promised. That's thin, the lesson. Last thought, and of course I'm going to bring it to a Baltimore Ravens analogy, so bear with me. If you don't understand football, deal with it. So first Sunday of NFL football has come to an end, and my beloved Baltimore Ravens are 1-0. And if you know anything about football, there's exciting football and there's boring football. And the Baltimore Ravens won with awesome defense and really, 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 really boring, -1 play, boring football. Didn't have a lot of cool, fancy passes. We had one that was really awesome and really fancy for the most part. But nothing too crazy. It was a lot of just hand the ball off, run, block, hand the ball off, block, run. And it was really boring. But we won 20-0, and we were the only team in the NFL to shut our opponent out for the Sunday. We won 20-0 over a team that we never win against at their place, and we went into Cincinnati and handed their sweet butts to them in a convincing fashion. So I reminded, and I even put a note as I was cheering on with beer in one hand and my phone in the other hand. I was texting myself to bring this up to you guys. You know, winning at TLA and moving your matrix forward isn't always sexy. It's not always oh man, I had this gigantic push. Look at me move my matrix. It's not always, oh, I ran this interview and it felt so good to fight. Like a couple of you I know have already run pre-screens to interviews. That's awesome. But sometimes it's boring. It's just moving the business forward. And so I want to remind you of a quote from the first prep. It's give up who you are today for who you can become tomorrow. You know, role-playing things isn't fun and sexy. You know what it is? It's really sexy when, because you role-played it so much, when you do it for real, for real, for real, for real, you get a lot of people in your office and they sell a ton of Cutco. That's sexy. But it's not sexy role-playing right now. Right? Going and learning how to do a power hour and carving out an hour to use your quote-unquote planner. It's not sexy now, but it's really sexy when you realize, wow, even more so than when I started the semester, I'm way more able to manage my time and do more even before even from when I was starting TLA Labor Day weekend. That's what gets exciting and sexy. So a lot of this right now is just this monotonous, let's just do the basics, but we're building a great foundation. Think of all the role playing you did your first 3 days of training and how boring that felt. But look at the outcome now. Okay? Just some food for thought. And go Ravens. And you can root for any other team, just not the Steelers. If you root for Steelers, you're out of TLA. That's all I have to say. Any questions or comments? No Steelers fans. And if you are, I would be very quiet right now. Okay. Los, thank you for your leadership. David, thank you for your leadership. Luke, thank you for your leadership. Luke, who's over there? I didn't get to see. Who's over in the we did a quick roll call.
The Wi-Fi here is screwed up. We're through a phone right now. But we got Deputy, Rachel, Mila, and Giovanni.
Hey, I'm coming to Gainesville next week, so that'll be fun too. All right. Guys, have a great I'm gonna hop off. You guys teach what you gotta teach, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.
Cool.